Hi everyone, Radhe Radhe. In this video, we're going to be talking about that same concept I've brought up many times. Respect everyone the way you respect the person you respect the most. So I discovered a new puzzle piece to that. That's what I'm going to talk about. This may seem like some of you might know this or might say I know that, but I would encourage you to really listen, because yes, we know that, and I also knew that, but I got a little deeper nuance to it yesterday. So here, like, I would encourage you to hear the nuance so that you can, bring it to the forefront and use it. So some aspects of that which I've talked about before is looking at the person that triggers you the most, that you feel the most judgment for, and looking in setting the intention very clearly. How can I respect this person? I have a video, an entire video on this. And then another thing is when you're sending links and things, that was a thing, like, who do you send it to, who do you not send it to, and do you have judgment around the people you don't send it to? Like, oh, this person's not going to understand, this person's not smart enough to understand, this person is not motivated enough, or whatever. You might have judgments around that. So try to bypass those and just send the links, and then you can ask them, does this work for you or not work for you? Okay. So the next puzzle piece that I found on this, which is really brilliant. Okay, so before I tell you the puzzle piece, I'm going to tell you a little story. So when I was growing up, I used to really talk to people. I used to do this a lot, I guess, but I used to do this from a place of anger, and not from the place I'm at right now, where it's more effective. At that time, I was not effective, but if I was upset at somebody, I would try to explain why I was upset, but from a place of anger. And it didn't really work many times. It was just like, the whole growing up, I would try and I would try and I would try, and it didn't really work. And but I would keep trying. And then there was somebody else who told me, don't do it. Why are you trying? It's not going to work. This person's not going to understand. There is no point in it. And I didn't like that. I didn't agree with that. I kept saying, but if you don't try, you're not going to achieve it at all. And how can you not try? How can you not keep trying? So that's what I'm doing right now. That's what I've gotten. But now, because I'm at a place where I can try from a place of more effectiveness, then I'm seeing a lot more results also in a lot more things. So the effectiveness comes from, yes, the person is not good. First of all, don't be angry. That's the most important thing. Don't say it from an place of anger. Don't yell, don't scream, because that's not going to help. It's really not going to help. The person you're yelling at or getting angry at is immediately put in a defensive mode. And when the person is in a defensive mode, they're not receptive, so they're not going to be hearing you. So it's just going to be, it can take decades, lifetimes, whatever, it doesn't matter, but you're not going to be able to get through to the person. So it's highly ineffective to express, but expressing is important. So I would say that expressing in anger is better than stonewalling and not saying. So that person who said don't say anything, that I don't think is better than what I did in terms of just yelling and screaming, having screaming matches. I think that's better, because at least you're releasing it. At least the person knows what you're thinking. The person is not completely shut out from your life. The person is defensive, but they know what you're thinking. It's a step ahead from stonewalling and from just being quiet and from just assuming, oh, this person isn't going to get anything, so there's no point in saying anything, so you never say anything, right? So I went through a phase where I did go through that thing where I didn't say anything, but I needed to go through that to get to this place where I'm at right now, where I do say. So I vote with my feet. Like, I walk away when, and I've talked about that as well, I walk away when I feel like I'm not able to get through to the person. I'll just walk away. And that is important as well, because there are situations where the person is not going to get it, does not want to get it. I mean, people are at different phases in their lives. So you walk away. And also, before you walk away, or after you walk away, when you come back, or maybe after you walk away, give yourself some time, a few months, a few years, whatever, and you can come back and have a conversation again and see how that goes. But have this conversation from this place. What is this place? This place is a place of telling the person what you feel. This is vulnerability. You do talk to the person, you do tell the person what you feel, and that helps you respect the other person also. That it's a good cycle, because when you are talking to the person, you feel more respect for the person, because that talking to the person comes from a place of respect. The only reason you would talk to the person is because you believe that there can be a change. If you just completely shut them out, then you believe that there can be no change. So there can be no real conversation, there can be no maturity in this conversation, so you're just pulling back and you're like, okay, there's nothing I can do. That is lack of respect. But the fact that you're talking to the person, even if you don't feel respect in that moment, just the fact that you're talking to the person will make you feel that respect, which will be great for you as well as for the other person. And when you respect the other person will also respect you, and you will build a real relationship. You will build a relationship based on mutual respect and love. So that's one thing, talking to the person, um, expressing, and also from a place of vulnerability where you're taking emotional responsibility, but you're also communicating very clearly that how you're feeling. So the person knows how you're feeling, the person knows where you are, and the person feels respected even though you're telling them they're hurting you. The person does not feel disrespected in that situation. Most of the time the person will feel respected, almost always, not every time, but almost always the person will actually feel respected if you're telling them, hey, what you did is very hurtful. um, I felt very hurt. Not there's nuances even to that. I mean, you can say that, but I felt very hurt about something like this, and I believe that this is how we could potentially work through this. I mean, you tell me. I mean, you okay? So this is what I feel. This is what I feel the problem is, and please tell me how we can work through this so that. Like when you say something like that, I suddenly feel walls um, coming up, because I feel like I'm going to be, if I say something like that to you, I feel like I'm going to be hurt, because you'll say something, this kind of thing back to me, and then I suddenly feel my walls coming up, and I don't want to have walls when I'm communicating with you. So can we find a way so that that I feel a little, like, so that I find it easier to speak about things like this, so that these walls don't suddenly shoot up because I'm nervous, this kind of thing. So when you're talking to the person, then communicate. But the tricky part is not to communicate the first time with the person. The tricky part is to communicate the 10th time or the 100th time with the person with respect, like this. So in that case, what you need to do is just walk away for a little bit, so that you feel like you've built your strength again to be able to communicate, and also let the person know, I'm not going to accept all of this. And then when things just flow, let things flow. Set the intention, but when you set the intention that you want to be able to communicate with the person, there will be an opportunity. If the person is in your life, then there will be an opportunity to talk to the person. And so when you talk to the person, you can then bring it up, like, in a very respectful way. That I think I think that but not even about her, just like talk to the person themselves. Like, people like feedback. Most people, almost everybody likes feedback, but said in a very, very good way. So I mean, you can say things like that I feel like you're very distracted all the time when you're talking to me. I feel like you're very distracted. You're like just looking for the next shiny object, and you say it in a humorous way. You're like, you're talking to me, and instead of going deep with me, you find somebody else to talk to, or you find something else, or you something on the phone rings, or something happens, and you're just like going after shiny object after shiny object, and we're not able to go deep. And I would love to have a conversation where we go deep, where you and I go deep, and build a real a more a relationship with more depth. And I would love that. And yeah, I mean, you just tend to go after shiny objects. So yeah, that is respect. So find the person who triggers you, and then find a way to communicate with that person, and set the intention. It might feel like, I cannot possibly communicate, nothing is going to work. That's where the challenge is. When you feel, that is where the growth is, that is where the real thing is. It's easy to talk to someone who is easy to talk to, right? There is no growth in that. I mean, there is growth in that, but that's not the real challenge. The real challenge is when it's difficult, and when you feel that this person's never going to understand, this person's never, just give them, I mean, I don't like using the word give them a chance, because it's like it's saying that they need a chance, or they're imperfect or something like that. But just try try again, and speak to the person from this place of, like, hey, this is what. So then they know. I mean, they know, and then give them some time, because they will need some time to process that. I mean, once they know, because most likely this is a blind spot and nobody has ever told them this, because people are so afraid of having real conversations with people. So give them time, like just say this to them with kindness, with love, and then and give a step back and let them come to you, right? And let them ask you more details about it or come to you or whatever. But do communicate, because that is a sign of respect, and that builds respect, and that builds a foundation of. But communicate vulnerably with emotional responsibility, not with anger, which triggers their defensive response. Okay, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video. Wish you a day filled with personal spiritual growth. Radhe Radhe.